Good afternoon. Thank you very much, all of you, for attending this webinar on destination management and the role of destination management organizations, how to strengthen their institutional capacities and how to prepare them for new challenges. This webinar has been organized by the Tourism Market Intelligence and Competitiveness Department in UNWTO as part of a series of webinars aiming at sharing and disseminating our work. The previous UNWTO webinar on over-tourism, understanding and managing urban tourism growth beyond perceptions on 14th May presented the main conclusions and recommendations of this publication. There are two volumes, volume 1 and volume 2, focused the second one on case studies, as well as UNWTO's ongoing research on the perception of residents towards city tourism and propose strategies and measures to help understand and manage visitors' growth in urban settings. The next UNWTO webinar on international tourism results and prospects in 2019 will take place on the 11th of June, and it will go through the last edition of the UNWTO Tourism Barometer, with results of on international tourist arrivals for the first 3 months of 2019. Now, let me briefly introduce the contents of this webinar. My first part will be focused mainly on the main conclusions of the UNWTO publication, Guidelines for Institutional Strengthening of Destination Management Organizations, Preparing DMOs for New Challenges. It has been released this May 2019, and it is available in our e-library. It's available online and free. This publication aims at setting the scene on the concept of destination management and the role of DMOs, their current challenges, and how to overcome these challenges in the future. Also, the webinar aims to stress the relevance of having the DMO as the leading organizational entity at destination level. And we will also explore the framework of criteria and indicators for DMOs, which is based on the UNWTO.QUEST Certification program, which also includes the 17 Sustainable Development Goals and the Global Code for Ethics in Tourism. Tourism is a driver for economic growth and social inclusion, and it has the power to change the world for better. The contribution of tourism in terms of generating employment, currently 1 in 10 jobs are linked to the tourism sector, especially for women and youth, as well as its capacity to protect and preserve the cultural and natural heritage, are highly valued. Tourism is a people-based sector that depends not only on professional skills, but also on interpersonal skills of the workforce for the delivery of more diverse travel experiences expected by the travelers, and it's also a major job and wealth creator for developed and developing countries. It is for these reasons that tourism is well acknowledged as a valuable tool in alleviating poverty, as employment within the sector provides income and experience, and therefore contribute to a person's social inclusion and individual development. Tourism can also contribute in a major way to the long-term sustainability and competitiveness of destinations, where local people are employed and trained, and income flows directly to the local economies. The World Tourism Organization is the United Nations specialized agency. It is mandated with the promotion of responsible, sustainable, and universally accessible tourism. UNWTO's membership includes 158 countries, 6 associate members, 2 permanent observers, and over 500 affiliate members, which represent the private sector, educational institutions, tourism associations, and local tourism authorities. UNWTO works to promote the benefits of tourism at every level, from the global to the local, and is committed to guiding the tourism sector towards a more sustainable and inclusive future, leaving no one behind. Here in this slide, we can see the international tourist arrivals in 2018. We can see that it reached 1.4 billion in the last year. This means a 6% growth with respect to the previous year, positioning 2018 as the second best year in numbers since 2010. And the total export earning from international tourism reached $1.7 trillion in 2018. International tourism accounts for almost 30% of the world's services exports and 7% of overall exports of goods and services. So here we can see the relevance of tourism in the international and economic arena. In this slide, we can see what is the forecast for the next years. According to UNWTO, in the last tourism forecast, it was announced that by 2030, almost 1.8 billion arrivals would be expected. Here we can see that already by 2018, we have increased the current, the previous prospects, which means that it is expected that in the coming years, we will see that international tourist arrivals will be beyond the previous forecast. Currently, this report is being under review by UNWTO, and we hope we can share the results and conclusions very soon. Now let's focus on the topic of this webinar on destination management. And first, I would like to briefly explain which are the main challenges that most tourism destinations are facing. Mainly, there are several challenges and paradigm changes, among them digital transformation, emerging disruptors such as new platform tourism services, especially in the accommodation sector, but not only, or managing visitors' growth, just to mention a few. This, together with increasingly aware of the need to enhance the competitiveness and sustainability of destinations, is leading to a more and better destination management. This increasingly complexity of the tourism sector, with all these changes and new actors breaking into the scene, have led to the need to preserve also the welfare of the residents and local communities and ensure a harmonious interaction between the tourist and visitor. That is why destination management has become essential now more than ever before. From traditional marketing and promotion boards, the trend is now for DMOs, destination management organizations, to become leading organizations with a broader mandate, which includes strategic planning, coordination and management of a full range of activities within an adequate governance structure, with the integration of different stakeholders operating in the destination, always under common goals and under a common collective vision. Destinations where such an organization is not still in place are increasingly creating or plan to create a destination management organization as the entity to lead the way. What are the main principles for destination management? First, I would like to share with you what is a common, I would not say definition, but this is a common understanding for destination management, and it is the coordinated management of all the elements that make up a tourism destination: attractions, amenities, access, marketing and pricing. Destination management takes a strategic approach to link up the sometimes very isolated and occasionally even diverging elements for the better planning and management of the destination. It is true that DMOs do not control the activities of their partners and other actors operating in the tourism destination, but it should bring together resources and expertise to lead the way forward. A step further in destination management is the concept of a smart destination, which is founded on 5 pillars. These are governance, innovation, technology, accessibility, and sustainability. When it comes to governance, we see that DMOs are formal structures that build on cluster efforts to manage and market the destination. DMOs can be established either at the local level, maybe it could be at city level, municipal level, but also at regional level, or can even be thematic in typology for rural tourism areas or ecotourism, which span even the national territory. Engage all relevant public authorities, private sectors, professionals, residents, and the local community in the tourism policy and decision-making process is a must. This is what we call the public-private community approach. An appropriate governance model stands as a key element for the success of a DMO. The governance model for its DMO will depend on several factors, whether political, administrative, challenges and priorities of the destination. And it is very important for all relevant stakeholders in the tourism sector and for all public authorities that no one-fits-for-all solution can be applied. Each destination must analyze their own challenges, priorities, and decide which is the governance model that best suits their needs. There are many advantages of effective destination management. Here we can see some of them. I'm not going to read what is written on the screen, but as I said before, it is now more than ever a key element for the success of any destination, a sound and planned destination management. DMOs are the leading organizational entity which may encompass the various authorities, stakeholders, and professionals, and facilitates partnerships towards a collective destination vision. This is the definition of a DMO, which was elaborated by the Committee on Tourism and Competitiveness of the UNWTO and was adopted by the UNWTO General Assembly in 2017. DMOs and SDGs are linked. DMOs should engage and should commit themselves to comply with all the SDGs, but especially those in which tourism is especially mentioned, mainly SDG 8, 12, and 14. Also, DMOs have a strong link with the UNWTO Global Code of Ethics for Tourism, because they can commit themselves to comply with this Global Code of Ethics, and they can also encourage the stakeholders in the destination to comply with this Global Code of Ethics. Now, here we see what are the main roles and functions of DMOs. In those areas not falling under or exceeding the scope of competencies of DMOs, they should seek the strategic alliances and partnerships beyond its traditional boundaries to encompass all the authorities and key stakeholders operating in the destination. The DMO should be able to identify and engage the local industries participating in the tourism value chain. It is key to create a favorable framework towards an inclusive tourism growth in order to catalyze the benefits both for the local businesses and for the communities and residents in the destination. As I said before, no one-fits-for-all model can be applied. Its destination needs to adapt to the nature and functions of its DMO to different factors. The common objectives for every DMO are mainly to maximize visitors' value and quality perception while ensuring the competitiveness and sustainability of the destination, as well as the preservation of its natural and cultural assets in the long run and catalyze these benefits for the local economy and the residents. Some fundamental DMOs function may include, and this is not an exhaustive list, it's something that is quite wide and open, but among these functions, we see a strategic planning, formulation or participation in the formulation process, and implementation of the destination's tourism policy, market intelligence, that is data gathering and analysis, market research, etc., tourism product and business development, monitoring, crisis management, training and capacity building. Very important, because not only of its human resources, but the DMO can also facilitate training and capacity building activities for the local tourism professionals. Of course, also promotion, marketing and branding, and funding and fostering investments and resources mobilization to implement their functions in fulfillment of the DMO's role. DMOs emerge as a pivotal reference at destination level, as I have tried to explain in the previous slides. As the leading organizational entity in the destination, the DMO needs to get the support of all acting stakeholders and be considered as the legitimized entity, institutionally, legally, and operationally speaking, to lead the management of tourism in the destination. Consultation process should be conducted whereby all key stakeholders in the destination can participate. This means both public and private sector, the civil society, local community, residents, academia, NGOs, indigenous communities, among others. The strategic plan should then, after this consultation process, fix the roadmap with tangible and specific actions, financial and human resources needs, identification of responsible entities for its execution, potential partners, key performance indicators. This KPI will let the DMO measure the compliance and the fulfillment of the different criteria, and other measurement toolkits to achieve the goals defined in the tourism policy for the destination in the medium and long term. UNWTO has identified 3 key performance areas in DMOs. These are leadership, execution, and governance. We will see this in the next slides, and I would like to take this opportunity to now link with the second part of my presentation, that is the UNWTO.QUEST Certification program. So here in this slide, you can see which are the 3 key performance areas and what are the main core values or attributes at each of these key performance areas. But now I will explain that in more detail. Let me focus now on the second part of this webinar. As I said before, UNWTO.QUEST is a DMO certification system. It is addressed at DMOs, destination management organizations of any size, any format, and the purpose is to help them strengthen their institutional and internal capacities, strengthen their governance model, and be able to achieve their full potential by complying the requisites or criteria identified and developed by this certification system. It is developed by UNWTO, but implemented also with UNWTO Academy. UNWTO.QUEST is a certification system for the DMOs according to a set of criteria and standards. The support and guidance in the improvement process is provided by UNWTO Academy. The purpose of this certification system is not to evaluate the destination. It is to accompany the DMO in the 3 key performance areas and provide them with an improvement plan in case this is needed. As a strategic tool for DMOs, UNWTO.QUEST seeks to improve their internal capacities, which will result in the competitiveness and sustainability of the destinations in which they are operating. The methodology is based on the 3 key performance areas I mentioned before: leadership, execution, and governance. And the objectives of UNWTO.QUEST are to provide a framework of standards and criteria which are globally applicable, and they intend to guide and assist DMOs in their daily performance and in their destination management strategies. The purpose is to strengthen DMOs and also to acknowledge their commitment with quality and excellence. The result is a destination in which competitiveness and sustainability have been enhanced as a result of participating in this overall certification process. I'm not going to explain in detail how it works, because the information is available in our website, and of course you can ask any questions to us at the end of this presentation. But you can see here in this slide that it has a progressive implementation methodology. It is implemented in 3 phases, consecutive phases. There is a continuous support and assistance monitoring, which includes also training and capacity building by UNWTO Academy. As a result of the process, for those DMOs who have complied with the standards, criteria, and indicators of QUEST, they get the certification, which is valid for 4 years, and there is possibility of renewal. Here you can see in this graphic very briefly how it works, and you can see that there are 3 phases. The initial self-assessment. Once the DMO is registered, the DMO itself can assess their performance against the criteria and indicators we are going to share with the DMO. Then there is an audit conducted by an external auditor using the same framework of criteria. As a result, the DMO can be above or below a 70% of the maximum score. For those DMOs who are below the 70% score, they need some training to overcome the gaps identified. In this case, this training is provided by UNWTO Academy. Then at the end, during the 3rd phase, there is another audit, again conducted by an external auditor. And if the DMO is now ready to get the certification because it has achieved the minimum score required to get the certification, as I said before, it's a 70% of the maximum score, the DMO receives the certification with a validity of 4 years. All this process is validated by an advisory board, which is an external body who has the main function of ensuring the transparency and objectivity of the certification process. Here we can see some of the main reasons why DMOs should join the UNWTO.QUEST initiative. Among them, the improved efficiency and expertise in their internal governance and management, also the optimized human resources management and development of professional skills at the DMO level. The DMO at the end of the certification process should be able to have developed strategies that foster the integration of all the stakeholders operating in the destination, public and private, and it is not there on the slide, but also the local residents and the local communities. It has adopted tools for innovation, sustainability, and competitiveness of the destination, and the DMO will have undertaken leadership in the destination as regards planning and also all the other elements that would lead the destination and the DMO to achieve their goals under a collective vision. The process to apply is very simple. UNWTO.QUEST is open for all DMOs, regardless of their size, of their budget, and whether they are in a UNWTO member, whether their country is a member of UNWTO or not. In any case, what they need to do is to submit an online registration form and provide a letter of support by the highest national tourism authority, the NTA. And then once they have obtained the approval of UNWTO to participate in UNWTO.QUEST, we initiate the process, and of course you are invited to make us all the questions you might have in regards with this initiative in the email addresses I'm showing in this slide. Now I have reached the end of my presentation. During the last 30 minutes, I tried to cover the main aspects of UNWTO publication guidelines for institutional strengthening of DMOs, preparing DMOs for new challenges. It was released in May 2019, as I said before. And I have also tried to explain the UNWTO.QUEST initiative, which is addressed at DMOs. Here I have included the email of the team of Tourism Market Intelligence and Competitiveness in UNWTO. In case you need to contact us, please, you're more than welcome, and feel free to send us any question, or in case you need to guess more about any matter related to destination management, DMOs, or UNWTO.QUEST.